One.
When life is but a torture, welcome to Smiley's Corner. Yeah!
Welcome to Smiley's Corner. My name's Smiley. We are gathered here today with my good friend John.
Hola, friends. Or, amigos?
Amigos.
Did you pluralize it with the male? Or does it matter? Amigas?
Yeah, it would. You amigos is like a general or a male, and amigas is like just women. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was a guy at
work that asked a price on something. It was $59.99, and he didn't understand what I was saying. So I was like, $5.9. And he understood. And it kind of sucks because I realized after, I was like, I just told him 5 and 9.
It'd be, I believe it's
Cinquenta?
Cinquenta.
Yeah, I was disappointed in myself. I'm like, damn it, man. I really want to learn Spanish. That's one of my, it's like a life goal that I'm not really working on in any way, shape, or form. But I would love to know Spanish.
I'm not sure if they have Spanish on there, but I've seen there's like a little app.
Mm-hmm.
You do like little games daily, and it slowly teaches you a language.
See, I've thought about that. I'm like, I know if I just sat down and like devoted an hour to 2 hours a day, just like fucking watching YouTube videos. This is YouTube videos explaining all this shit. Like,
Yeah.
You don't even have to do a course. It's probably better to do the course, but man, I could do it. Because I keep seeing these clips of Kobe Bryant speaking all these languages, and I'm like, son of a bitch. The only thing is that, like, at first I was kind of like, because I kept saying he was like fluent in all these languages. I'm like, man, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because all the clips I see are like a minute long.
Yeah.
There's no like, but there's definitely somewhere there's press conferences where someone is talking to him, and I'm like, okay, he just answered. Like, it's not like a, hey, how are you in Italian? Oh, I'm fluent in Italian.
Yeah.
Like, people are asking him questions, he's answering, so I'm like, I don't know if he knows what he's saying. But he said, it was a very minor news story, but Luka Doncic from the Mavs was, I think, inbounding a pass or whatever, and Kobe Bryant was behind him and supposedly talked shit to him in Slovenian. But like,
why the hell does he know Slovenian?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't know if he knows Slovenian
or he just learned a couple words.
Just knew enough, because like, and I don't want to take anyone. If he knows it, more power to the guy.
Yeah.
But I was just like, all right, just because he said 8 words to Luka Doncic doesn't mean he's necessarily like fluent in the language.
True.
But yeah, seeing those, I'm like, this guy was like fucking 3rd or 4th all-time leading scorer, like 5 NBA championships, and he had time to learn languages. So it's not really an excuse for me, I guess. And he had 4 kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not really an excuse for me not to learn Spanish at this point. That's definitely something I should get on top of, but in due time.
Maybe he practiced and used those like tape things. He's like sitting there like shooting hoops. Like,
Yeah,
hola!
I could definitely see him doing that. That's what I keep telling myself. I'm like, man, I just need to like break down my day hour by hour and just like, but I'm too lazy to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to not only just like do the work, but like just do like a spreadsheet schedule like thing. I'm like, I'm too lazy to even like break it down.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I just have a bunch of extra things. Like, I have all this like paper and stuff. I don't even know if you can really see. It's not super visible in this video, but I have all these like things that I need to like file away. I even got a filing cabinet. I went and cleaned out my grandmother's house and got a free filing cabinet. I just threw a bunch of shit in there, but I have extra room for stuff. But it would make things a lot easier. And I have like a bunch of clothes in there I need to take to Goodwill. All these things, and I just like. It would take like an hour, maybe.
But I know, yeah, I see, because 2 people I know, there's a guy I follow, Paulo Rivera, who's an artist, and he had like his, like he clocks his hours for the work that he does. And it was kind of crazy to see the spreadsheet, like this page or this cover or just this poster or whatever, like the time he spent, and he like he logs everything. And I think Angry Video Game Nerd does the same thing. I think he kind of has like, I don't know if it's necessarily hour by hour, but I think it's a pretty like
detailed.
When he says in the video that's like there's literally no hours in the day that I could do this project or that, like he's not lying. I think his time is literally like all allocated out for however long, and I'm like, golly, man. I know as soon as I start doing it, I'm like, all right, this hour will be free play.
Yeah, even whenever I sat in that thing at PAX and listened to those guys that work with him, like it sounds like the workload was just so crazy because I think he was just sitting and editing all those videos by himself for so long, and Mike was helping him with stuff obviously, but then it just like you had to bring in more people just because there's too much work to get all done. Because they were talking about how the YouTube, I might have gone over this when we talked about it, but like the YouTube thing, like people want stuff now.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
they want like good quality content now. So you could either give them shit real quick, or like give them something really nice in like a longer amount of time.
It's like I've noticed since you've been putting out more content, which is great, the quality's dropped. I'm like, oh, no kidding. And it's just like, it's a either or. It's like, dude, I'm trying my best, and I would say for like as far as other YouTubers, like he does pretty good. Like he's got Angry Video Game Nerd, which is like his mainstay, and he's still. I mean, I guess people could argue about the quality of that, but there's definitely at least effort. Like he hasn't just abandoned it or anything. Like there's definitely an effort to like still make that the main thing, but still provide other content and stuff. I mean, he's very good at his. I mean, I admire the guy for his work ethic, and I mean, he's doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, and he's like working on another movie now, and like writing a book and like all this stuff. I
know he's doing another movie.
Yeah, he's working on a horror movie.
Really?
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be like a low budget horror movie, I'm assuming.
Well, I kind of wonder if it'll be like more like psychological horror, like all that old stuff that he's really into.
Yeah. All right, I'm interested. Speaking of movies, did you watch any of the Oscars?
No. I can't remember. I don't remember exactly what I did on Sunday night. I was so tired. I went to my girlfriend's and sat down and ate dinner and fell asleep.
Well, I was going to say that I feel like, I guess most people are probably positive about it, but personally, I was talking to you about this off mic. I've seen 5 of the 9, and at least of those 5, I feel like the right movie won.
Yeah.
Like, Ford versus Ferrari, good, but I don't know, didn't really blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I thought, like, this is the thing, is I noticed a lot of people calling out 1917 for the whole, like, it looks like it's one shot and the logistical nightmare of making this movie. And that's great, but my thing was that, like, with 1917, it's just about 2 dudes that need to get from point A to point B, and they're going through no man's land, like, between, or into, like, enemy lines and everything. But instead of thinking of that, I'm thinking like, oh, wow, how'd they do that shot? How'd they get that long take? And it's like, I should be thinking about the 2 dudes that are like going into Nazi territory.
You're analyzing the logistics.
It's like, and that's why I kind of wish like I didn't know that going into the movie, because it was like, as soon as it started, I was just like watching. I'm like, well, how long does this take? I'm like, all right, I think they could have cut it there. And I was still like, apparently, like the movie's pretty easy to follow. That's why I like it. It's a simple story and everything, but I don't know. And like, but with Parasite, I just felt like it was just all about the story and the people in the story. And I'm like, that to me is a better movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm lost in
the movie.
Like, I'm not thinking like, dude, I like how they pan the camera right there and they got it framed this way and that. And I'm like, and I guess that's, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's why sometimes Best Director will be, because a lot of people are like, if he won Best Director, could he not win Best Picture? Or if he won Best Picture, how could you not win Best Director if you have the Best Picture? But that's the only reason I could think. Although now that I'm saying that, I don't think the 1917 Sam Mendes guy won Best Director, but
no,
it's just Parasite was a better movie. I don't know if there was kind of a viral clip of this guy that was like livid that Joker didn't win.
Oh, really?
He was fucking irate. The funny thing is he 2 points were made. Is like, first of all, he's like, who in motherfucking America saw Parasite? Which I don't know if that's a valid argument for it not
Yeah.
winning, but he just like first of all, he hadn't seen Parasite, so that's something to keep in mind whenever
Yeah.
he analyzed it. But he was talking about how Joker dealt with like mental illness and like poor versus rich and all of these things that are like very, very present and up front in like our everyday life now that's going on in the news and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because I would say, yeah, they definitely address that. And he's like, what's more important to our culture and stuff? And I was just like, a movie about the Joker from Batman. But that's fine. It was a good movie. But the two things that like when you look at the similarities between the King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, I'm just like, and I'm pretty sure that I just lost his name, the director, Todd Phillips, he's even stated that like that was an inspiration. I'm like, so they like definitely kind of lifted from those movies. That kind of takes away from it for me.
Yeah.
That and like what they addressed in the movie, all that guy's talking about, was a little more heavy-handed, which is funny because Parasite, which I didn't even think this at the time, addressed those same fucking things and even did it like more eloquently and soft-handed. Because I'm just watching the movie, I'm like, holy shit, this is a really intricate, like, cool movie and stuff. And then afterwards, I think somebody had made a poster and it was just like almost like class levels and stuff. This apartment building just showing like the strata of people and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, I never even thought about it as a rich versus poor thing. I never even considered that. But I'm like, well, that just makes it better that I didn't consider that. And I'm just like, I personally, of the five I've seen, and like Once Upon a Time, obviously, Joker's the most overrated fucking movie of 2019. Really good movie, but people are talking about it like it's, I don't know, Schindler's List or something. Like, fucking calm down. Like, it's good. It's not the greatest movie ever. Personally, I mean, obviously it's subjective, but I was happy to see Parasite win. And that's the thing, too, is that motherfucker was saying that it was the woke choice. I guess because they're Asian, and this is the first time, like, a foreign film was won.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if they won Best Foreign Film, then they shouldn't be eligible to win Best Picture. And I'm like, so the Best Picture ever can't be a foreign film because it's also a foreign.
Has to be America because this
like,
is America.
I'm like, it's a woke. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I can definitely see that in a lot of instances with, I don't know, any sort of entertainment nowadays. But like, I would encourage you guys to see the movie. Although he's so mad that even if he did like it, he's not going to let himself admit it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just really been bugging me because as many people watch the Oscars, there's as many people that bitch about the Oscars, which is really weird to me. It's weird how, like, it's kind of like you have the Super Bowl, and then you have just people, like, everyone's just bitching about the Oscars on, like, online and stuff. It's just so bizarre to me because, like, I don't want to say it's, like, beneath my radar, but I only think of it because people are bitching about it. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, did you hear what this person said? Oh, that's ridiculous. But speaking of what this person said, do you mind if we play? Because Joaquin Phoenix, while this guy is so pissed too, Joaquin Phoenix did win Best Actor for Joker, which he was the best part of that movie. I mean, easily. He's fucking Joaquin Phoenix. Personally, I feel like he's been better in other movies, but like I say, most overrated movie of 2019. Great movie, but let's calm down. But let's take a listen to Joaquin Phoenix's speech.
Much gratitude right now. And I do not feel elevated above any of my fellow nominees or anyone in this room because we share the same love, the love of film, and this form of expression has given me the most extraordinary life. I don't know what I'd be without it. But I think the greatest gift that it's given me, and many of us in this room, is the opportunity to use our voice for the voiceless. I've been thinking a lot about some of the distressing issues that we are facing collectively. And I think at times we feel, or we're made to feel, that we champion different causes. But for me, I see commonality. I think whether we're talking about gender inequality or racism or queer rights or indigenous rights or animal rights, we're talking about the fight against injustice. We're talking about the fight against the belief that one nation, one people, one race, one gender or one species has the right to dominate, control, and use and exploit another with impunity.
Woo, yeah! I'm there in the audience, Smiley.
I think that we've become very disconnected from the natural world, and many of us, what we're guilty of is an egocentric worldview, the belief that we're the center of the universe. We go into the natural world and we plunder it for its resources. We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a calf, and we put it in our coffee and our cereal. And I think we fear the idea of personal change because we think that we have to sacrifice something to give something up. But human beings at our best are so inventive and creative and ingenious. And I think that when we use love and compassion as our guiding principles, we can create, develop, and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and to the environment. Now, I've been a scoundrel in my life. I've been selfish. I've been cruel at times, hard to work with, and ungrateful. But so many of you in this room have given me a second chance. And I think that's when we're at our best, when we support each other, not when we cancel each other out for past mistakes, but when we help each other to grow, when we educate each other, when we guide each other towards redemption. That is the best of humanity.
Okay, I think that's enough. All I heard were clips, and I wasn't quite as crazy as I thought, because clearly you know the clip that they probably played.
Yeah.
But the part about the cow and the calves and stuff, like, whenever I had heard about that, so what were you going to say?
Oh, I just realized that we can probably upload the audio of this, but we can't put this on YouTube because it's somebody else's shit.
Well, it's commentary. We're doing commentary on it.
Okay.
I don't remember the rules, but I think that yeah, it'll be fine. No one's gonna strike us, even if they do. Come at me, YouTube. Don't come at me. But I'm pretty sure that yeah, I mean, people do this all the time on YouTube, where they they call it EFAP, every frame of pause, where they basically play something and respond to it and stuff and critique it and everything. But my critique on this, because a lot of people were especially pointing out the whole we take a cow and I just don't know about Joaquin Phoenix, because he did a movie called I'm Still Here,
Yeah.
which is probably the greatest practical joke on an entire country, where people thought that he left acting
Become a rapper?
to become a rapper, a like drugged out whore using rapper. Turned out it wasn't real. And actually during the Joker, he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and it wasn't really a controversy. I think it was like a very tiny one, but on Jimmy Kimmel they played a clip of him kind of going off on some assistant or whatever. It wasn't the director. I think it was someone higher up than an assistant, but I don't remember exactly who it was. But it was basically him being, I guess, kind of rude. But it turned out it was fake. It was a joke. So whenever I heard clips of his speech, and naturally on Twitter, a lot of people were freaking out, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? The whole, like, when we take a calf from a cow and stuff.
I was kind of wondering if he was going on, like, some kind of vegan trip or something.
Yeah, that's... we probably should have watched the whole thing, because I didn't realize the speech was... I guess it's not that long, but I thought it was all kind of bizarre and stuff. But whenever I had heard that clip, I was kind of like, I think he might be fucking with people.
Yeah.
And if he's not, it's still a nice message and stuff, but sometimes the way he expresses himself, and just given his past of fucking with people, I'm like, I think he might be playing you guys. And you guys are like, oh, Hollywood's crazy. They're talking about cow's milk and artificial insemination and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of bizarre, but I don't know. It's kind of weird because, like, the people he wants to impress are like, yeah, this is beautiful. I love this. And the people that he hates obviously hate it. And then I think there's some that are like, I think he might, like me, I think he might be fucking with you. Like, either way, I still like him. He was totally. I'm fine with him winning Best Actor. I'll say that. Parasite to me was the best movie. I'm fine with him winning Best Actor. I don't know how. I guess Leo could have done it, but Christian Bale's pretty. Fuck, I don't know, man.
Well, I saw. I watched a what was it, like a top 10 Oscar snubs or whatever. It wasn't that like. It wasn't. I don't think it was called snubs, but just like people that you might have missed.
Oscar or like Martin Scorsese not winning one forever and ever. Actually, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win one forever.
But
and
I
ever.
think it was all like best actor or best performance or whatever like that. But the guy from Parasite, the dad, they were saying that he was kind of like overlooked. Like apparently he's a big deal in Korea.
Well, the funny thing is somebody mentioned that it's like, so this movie won Best Picture. None of the actors from the movie were nominated for anything, as far as I understand. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is kind of nuts. But I'm like, I know it sounds really bad, but I don't know if like foreign language actors really translate to American audiences. I know it sounds really dumb, but I just feel like
you can't really
the language barrier like makes them not realize how good or bad their performance is.
Yeah, you can't tell the emotion.
Yeah, so I feel like
especially a lot of the Asian languages, they're very like kind of terse and like.
Yeah, and I think a lot of performances, like, do you think he's doing good acting, or you just like what he's doing, kind of like, that's really cool. Like Brad Pitt, like that's cool that he won a fucking the Oscar for Best Supporting. But I'm like, he just kind of played like a cool Brad Pitt in the movie. Like I didn't really think it was like. That's the same thing. Like I think this was his first Oscar, and I'm like, I'm glad that he won an Oscar. It was a good movie, but I feel like he's done better in the past.
Yeah.
Like I guess it's supporting. Whatever. That's fine. Oscar's an Oscar. I'm sure he'll take it. But I don't know. That's all. Part of me is kind of wishing that I would have watched the speech before. I didn't realize it was. I thought it was all crazy because people were just playing clips and bitching about it online.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like. So let me get this straight. Joaquin Phoenix did something that you're all freaking out about. And he's done this multiple times in the past. And you're not like, maybe he's fucking with us. Like, but I don't know. He actually I don't know if it's both of his sisters, but one of them at least has a podcast.
Really?
You can find it on YouTube. He was on it and stuff. And it's so weird. It's really awesome seeing, because here, he looks nervous and like I'm about to cry in front of these people and stuff. But on that podcast, it's like normal, like they're, brother, sister, just going back and forth stuff. It's kind of nice. But that's all I really had for Oscar talk. So it's funny how I was bitching about no one. I didn't watch a minute of it, but
did you see the guy that said was on Twitter bitching about Parasite winning?
Was it a video of a guy yelling?
No, It was just a tweet.
Oh, no.
Let me see if I can.
Did he say something? I saw that Steven Crowder thought that Cats should have won over Parasite. And he was clearly joking, but he did not think Parasite should have won. And I just don't know. I just don't see. Everyone watches Quentin Tarantino like he's the greatest thing ever, but that movie, like, I don't know. To me, film or directing is the art of storytelling. And, like, there wasn't really a lot of story, I feel like, in fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There was a lot of fucking hanging out and driving around in a fucking car to eventually get to the climax, which I guess that's his movies now. A long fucking drawn out and wait for the climax.
So there's a lot of speculation about this. This guy, John Miller from The Blaze.
Oh, I already know where this is
going. He's like
going.
a conservative host, so a lot of people are like, this guy's a fucking racist. I don't really know. I think either way, like whether you want to call him racist or not, I think it was just kind of a shitty tweet, but you're allowed to say whatever you want on the internet. A man named Bong Joon-ho wins Oscar for Best Original Screenplay over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 1917. Acceptance speech was great honor, thank you. Then he proceeds to give the rest of his speech in Korean. These people are the destruction of America.
These people, wow.
So the other speculation was that like this was referring to the Academy, like being like, I don't know, whatever, out of their heads or whatever. But other people are like crying racist at him saying Korean people are like taking over. Like I don't know. Like,
Wow.
but like I said, regardless, it's kind of shitty thing to say.
Yeah, like any way, shape, or form, any way you cut that what a fucking prick, dude. Okay, dude, and this when I see shit like that, it fucking not even like it sounds bad, not even like the possible racism of it. I'm just like, 1917 was stories told to him by his fucking grandfather.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, we got to get this message here. Boom, screenplay written. Like, look at Parasite and tell me how much more complicated that is than fucking goddamn 1917. And fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Everyone needs to get off fucking Tarantino's fucking nuts, dude. He made a movie, like, his movies are 2.5 hours long, and every time they end, you're like, oh, okay. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, how's that a screenplay? It's like, yeah, we're going to have two dudes hanging out talking. Oh, he's never done that before in a fucking movie? Like, come on. It's the same fucking movie in a different setting.
Yeah.
Every fucking movie. He's going to have people sitting around talking.
Well, except for Kill Bill.
That's true.
more
That's his best.
violent,
And what sucks is I don't hate the guy, but, like, people, I don't know. Like, I know it's subjective, but I just feel like, fucking calm down. Like Parasite, I'm sorry. This is the best fucking movie. It was the best fucking movie, hands down.
Yeah.
You can all suck a dick. And fucking... Yeah, I don't know what he means by they're ruining this country, though.
I don't know. People are so...
Because surely he can't be talking about Koreans, because I don't understand. Maybe, like, if he's going that route, and hopefully he's not, like... Because, China is a big global entity power and everything, so I could understand where the logic would be behind saying that. I wouldn't say it, but I can understand the logic behind that. But I'm like, why are you fucking talking about Koreans? And then I'm thinking, is he just confusing that with Asia altogether? Is he just lumping it all together? Or is it Hollywood chose a Korean guy to win best, like, fucking...
Yeah, maybe he's going on the whole woke kick, too.
This is what I don't fucking understand, man. Like, the Academy Awards are a fucking award show made for and by the people that make the fucking movies.
Yeah.
Like, they don't fucking matter. Like, what the fuck is the like, I don't know. Like, hey, let's get all the podcasters together and we're going to have a podcast award, which I'm pretty sure they fucking have that.
Yeah.
And then somebody wins. You're like, oh, this is terrible. I'm like, dude, this is all like, it's just made up. It's just like, we just put it together and now we have, like, what the fuck does this matter? It's movies, man. Like, fuck off.
I also
dude.
kind of felt like this was a bit of redemption because this is the same guy who did The Host and Snowpiercer. And I still can't remember what exactly him and the Weinsteins disagreed over whenever Snowpiercer, because that was like the first time that he had worked with like a big company in the States, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, he didn't do whatever they asked him to, so they just shut down. They didn't promote that movie at all. It basically just went straight to video. Like, it popped up on Netflix and had a bit of a second life.
Wow.
But
I mean, I remember you talking about it, and I was just like, dude, that looks really dumb. But I remember, I vaguely remember, I probably didn't watch the whole thing. Maybe that's why I'm not remembering that well. But I remember somewhat The Host. I remember hearing about Snowpiercer from you and everything. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I'll say it, I liked Parasite so much that I want to see the rest of this guy's films because he made the best fucking picture. I think this is what bugs me about everything too nowadays is it's like everyone looks through everything through that lens of like, whoa, is he like woke? Is he left? Is he far leftist? Or is he alt-right? Or is he like, look at the way he walks, dude. Like, the only people that walk like that are probably like conservative. Right? Like, every fucking action that everyone takes is like a political fucking statement at this point. It's like, dude, he made a movie about, I don't know, people like infiltrating a rich family's life
bunch of con
and
artists.
getting it's like fucking like what are you supposed to, I don't, it's so infuriating. Like, everything has to be a fucking political statement out. I'm just like, fucking dude, if you love fucking Trump, love him. If you hate him, but fucking some people are just making stuff to make stuff because they like making stuff. Like,
Yeah.
God damn it. It's fucking infuriating. Sorry, we should get off the fucking Oscars. Because Parasite was the best fucking movie by the best director ever and had the greatest cast who I don't know any of their name. With all that being said, though, I kind of do want to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again. I mean, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. I just don't understand. I don't understand the hoopla. People just think like. I think it's the same with music. People confuse like what they like, as like somehow that relates to the skill of the person doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've definitely talked about them all. Like I like the Chats, the band, but I don't think they're like. The musicianship isn't exactly like otherworldly or anything, but I like them a lot, and I feel like people do the same with movies. Like, oh, I really like that movie. It is the best movie. I'm like, well, I mean, you got to judge it on a little more than like just you liking it. It's like, I don't know. Like, I liked Mad Max Fury Road, but I'm fine if it doesn't fucking win Best Picture that year. Probably fucking should have though. Although I think Costume Person got a fucking Oscar for that.
Yeah, sounds right.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A. So what do you got?
Do you want? I'm not really sure if I should I feel like I might be getting in over my head trying to talk about this thing. Though, it's a.
I don't want to look dumb on a podcast.
It's a bug that's very similar to Y2K, but it's a little it's more complex.
So computers have Damn it! I really wish I knew more. Wait, here we go. So you're telling me computers have the Cortana virus?
But basically, so they set up like a timekeeping system in the back end of computers.
Okay.
Whenever computers started getting more complex. So
I'm following. I think the audience is with us. Timekeeping.
So when the first precursors to the modern internet started to come online in the early 1970s, a consistent timekeeping standard was required. The Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers threw a committee of people at the problem. In 1971, they suggested that all computer systems could count 60ths of a second from the start of 1971.
Wow. Okay. I got that last part.
Okay.
Just for the record, people listening, Smiley's just talking off the top of his head. He's not reading anything. He's just that smart. I know if you're confused, don't worry, I'm a little confused too. I got that last part.
This is from Matt Parker. He wrote a book called Humble Pi When Math Goes Wrong in the Real World.
That's pi like 3.149787624. I'm just kidding. I don't know that many numbers. There are people I think there's a world record for the many numbers of pi, and it's pretty long. As somebody memorized.
So you got that part. All computer systems could count 60ths of a second from the start of 1971.
Okay.
So the electrical power driving the computers is already coming in at a rate of 60 hertz. That's vibrations per second.
Okay.
So
60 of a second, 60 hertz. Okay.
So it simplified things, uses frequency with the system. Very clever.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how much smarter I am right now than I was 2 minutes ago.
Except that 60 hertz system would exceed the space in a 32-digit binary number in a little over 2 years and 3 months. So that run out pretty quickly. So they recalibrated it to count the number of whole seconds since the start of 1970. This number was stored as a signed 32-digit binary number, which allowed for a maximum of 2,147,483,647 seconds.
Whoa. What year did that start?
1970.
So we're coming up on that. Because I've done the math,
Yeah.
and I think a billion seconds... Is it a billion seconds? Yeah, I think that's a billion seconds. Was like some odd 30-something years.
So that number that I just gave you, 2,147,483,647 seconds, is a total of over 68 years from 1970.
Whoa.
And this was put in place by members of a generation who in the 68 years leading up to 1970 had seen humankind go from the Wright brothers inventing the first powered airplane to humans dancing on the moon. They were sure that by the year 2038, computers would have changed beyond all recognition and no longer use this Unix time.
Oh, no.
So as you know,
So we have a countdown, a literal
right
countdown.
now, if you're listening to this in the future, the year is 2020.
And, I don't know, tell my mom I love her. So it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense. So I said 1 billion equals 30-something years, so about 68 years. This is counting down.
So we're more than halfway there, and we're still on the same system. It's literally ticking away.
So they made a system that has like an expiration date on it, but they assumed, it's 68 years. Like,
And
we
they
will-
saw
we
all
will
that
have-
shit go. Like we went from learning how to fly to flying to the fucking moon.
yeah. So they just assumed that we would have corrected, or not corrected, just like improved upon it, and like, yeah, it'll be fine.
And computers have like gone significantly. Like they were like way crazier than they were in the 1970s, but they're still using the same Unix time. So if you're running Linux or a Mac, like this recording is being recorded on,
There we go.
there's the lower half of the operating system right below the GUI. If you have a Mac, open up the app terminal, which is a gateway to how your computer actually works.
I feel like we're gonna be. I hope if anyone actually listens to this and it's like, all right, time to disassemble my computer. Probably don't do that. Probably consult a professional.
Well, this is like this is how you like it. Basically, you just run like it's like. I see. I'm too fucking stupid to explain this, but you can just do it by like a couple of key commands and pull it up.
Okay,
You
okay.
can look at it.
Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Maybe I shouldn't assume that everyone's an
But yeah,
idiot
if you
like
don't
me.
know what you're doing, definitely don't follow anything that I'm saying. I probably won't even do that.
Oh, wait, so like we said, there's like basically a countdown. They have like an expiration date on this. Like, well, when does it expire? When do we run out of that 2 billion some odd number?
In 2038.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, yeah, well, oh, man. They've had 50 years and they haven't done it, and they have 18. Man. You know what? Man, I'm glad we're doing this because I feel like I remember 1999. I remember Y2K. And what's funny is we're going to watch this because even Y2K, it was something that I think was solved, but it just like, I mean, if anyone doesn't believe in fake news, like, and I know that's a term thrown around a lot, but if anyone doesn't believe that, we all remember Y2K. We all remember that.
Well, I can't remember. I don't know if he explains it.
So just remember this, Smiley. Remember this moment, this podcast, where we're talking about this, and we've known about it in 2020. We're going to revisit this on episode, 8,432 in the year 2038, and we're going to be like, told you so. Wouldn't that be weird if this does turn into like a Y2K bug kind of hysteria?
Everybody's running to Walmart to get all their supplies.
Yeah, but think about this, Smiley. And then someone unearths this podcast, and then they're like, these two dudes tried to warn us years ago.
But
And that
I'm
one
sure,
guy's really glad that Parasite won.
I'm sure there are like really smart people that are working on this as we speak, probably. But
I'm really worried that there's one smart person either listening, or if just like if we had another person, we're like, yeah, it's already, yeah, it's fine.
But the
We've already
interesting,
got it, just like the Y2K thing.
the interesting thing about this also is that like I said, Mac and Linux systems are built right on top of this Unix number.
Mhm.
But Microsoft Windows has its own timekeeping system.
Booyah! Okay, that's what I was like. I don't even know what I have, and I was sort of when you said Mac and this and that, and I'm like, God damn it, man! But I got Windows 10 on a nice Lenovo at home like 6 months ago.
But this was really funny because this guy is so geeky. He said,
I guess Steve Jobs couldn't figure it out, huh? But Bill Gates got it.
he said, what is it? When in February 13th of 2009, him and his friends got together to celebrate 1,234,567,890 seconds. So if you that was too fast for you, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So they had a party and got drunk for that time.
Fucking nerds, man. God, I wish. I'm not gonna lie. When people hear that, a lot of people probably, I don't know, like roll their eyes. They're like, "Well, that's weird." But man, I wish I was like that. I wish like that was the thing that I wish I could get drunk off of that. That'd be crazy. Like, I'm so excited that.
Oh, he also does elaborate that so like I said, Windows does have its own timekeeping system, but Mac OS is built directly on Unix. But more importantly, many significant computer processors and everything from internet servers to your washing machine will be running on some descendant of Unix, and they're all vulnerable to this bug.
Yikes.
So like fucking cars and everything else, I would imagine, like.
Does it say anything about Hyundai Elantras in there? See, and this is, and whenever I use the term fake news, I don't think fake news is like something that's like, you know, they just made up out of thin air. But I think like a story like this based, and that's like me going, like now that I have this information that you've just told me, I go to work here like, yeah, dude, I heard in 2038 all the computers are going to shut down. Yeah, they run out of time. They don't have any more time. Like that's how like. That's what I mean by like kind of spreading.
Your
like,
iPhone will be worthless.
Like there's truth to that to an extent, but you're kind of not quite understanding, and that's why I think that's probably how hysteria gets built, because a lot of dumb fucking people that don't understand stuff. Keep in mind, I'm in the dumb category. I'm not excluding myself from that. I just try not to. Just try to ignore everything, so I don't.
But I don't know. I mean, since we are like past Y2K now, I feel like people might be a little more at ease.
That's true. Well, that's what that'll be funny now that I'm thinking about it, because you have the whole like climate change deniers and believers or whatever, and I wonder if this is gonna turn into like
the
next
end of the world.
But what I'm saying is like it'll be like the Y2K thing, but everyone, I feel like, I don't know about everyone, but a lot of people bought that. But what if like this is real and it's legit, and people are like, whatever, man.
Well, I think if they
I'm not gonna get tricked again. You fucking tricked me once. You're not gonna trick me again.
if they don't fix it, it will legitimately happen. But I think, like I said, I'm sure there's plenty of people way smarter than we will ever strive to be that are working on it as we speak, I would hope.
What did George Bush say? The fool me once, shame on you. Won't get fooled again. Something like that. Something along that. I don't even know if he really said it. It's just like strategery. Like he never actually said that word. It was just based on an SNL skit. But it's a good line. I might be butchering it. Fool me once. Can't fool me again. Are you looking up the quote right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand George Bush quotes much better than I can understand timekeeping and Unix and Linux and.
There's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me." Oh, I guess.
Fool me twice, won't get fooled again. I think that's what he's. Does he actually say that?
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
I like. They splice in the. It makes it sound like we're.
Track.
Yeah, it makes it sound like we're watching a skit, but like that's. Take out the laughter, and this guy's really saying that. That's pretty crazy. It might be a deep fake, though. You never know. What if all that? Yeah. What if? Never mind. That would be.
But anyway, something else for people to get worried about. I don't know. I just thought it was the whole article. Like, if you get a chance, this was on Engadget. They do this segment like an article thing called Hitting the Books. And like I said, this is from the writer of Humble Pie, Matt Parker. I'm not sure if this is a segment of Humble Pie, but it's
when math goes wrong in the real world.
Yeah. But this guy sounds pretty fucking smart, so I'd listen to him.
Yeah, I just it doesn't really take a lot to be smarter than me, so it's like that's like me, I don't know, believing a fourth grade teacher. I'm like, I understand what you're saying, so you sound smarter than me, which is probably true.
So you want to go on to the next thing?
Yes.
Okay. You may already know this because you know somebody that I'm not sure if currently has, but has had this vehicle. But I just thought it was a weird thing. So a security guard at work, I think he just he probably either forgot that you couldn't run your AC all day or radio all day. They have to sit out there for like 12 hours in their car and watch Like, we have armed guards now because we had an incident at work.
Wow.
But anyways, this guy is sitting back there, and he, like, came up right before it's time to go. He's like, hey, man, you know anybody that can jump me off? My battery's dead. And this guy has, like, practically brand new car. But I was like, yeah, and I had forgot, like, I gave my girlfriend my jumper cables, so I didn't have them. But we have forklifts and stuff inside. I figured there'd be some floating around, or I could get some off somebody. So I went inside, and I found some jumper cables, and then I drove around and, like, proceeded to jump him off. This was a 2014 Camaro.
Okay.
Open the hood, no battery. I don't know where the fuck. Like, I looked around, like,
So
everything.
I'm assuming he doesn't know where it is either.
No, he's
wow.
like, I never looked under here before. But it is. I think, and I found out later that I think it is, like, I'm not sure if it's every single sports car or, like, muscle car, but it's a very common thing. Battery's in the trunk.
Really?
Yeah. So you literally have to, like, pull out the spare, like, lift the carpet, pull out the spare, and it's right under there.
Huh. Because my dad has a Camaro. I don't think it's older. I don't think it's 2014. I think it's older than that. So I've never known
But
that.
I think 2010 on, they all have them in the trunk.
There's probably a lot of people possibly listening right now that's like, duh.
But I found out later that you don't actually have to. I didn't really, like, want to, like, sit there and, like, watch a YouTube video and explain
Yeah.
all this stuff. I was just like, where is the battery? I just Googled it, and it's like, it's in the trunk. This should be fairly straightforward. And
Yeah.
it was. You just pull out the thing, and
It's
you
the
just
same, like, it's like a normal battery. It's
yeah, you
in
just
the
gotta,
trunk.
like, pop, like, a cap off of it, and they're sitting right there. There's a positive and a negative. But what I found out later was that if you lift up the hood, I believe it's on the driver's side,
Mhm.
there's actually, like, a positive terminal that runs all the way to the battery. So you can hook that up,
Oh.
and there's a ground that
Ground
sticks
to-
up out of the, like, the side where the hood hits the body. So you just hook them up, and it does the same fucking thing. But
Wow. So you can still, oh wow, that's crazy. So you're technically, I mean, I guess you are hooking to the battery because that line runs to the battery and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was, it sounds really dumb, but I remember when my brother jumped my car off and he did the whole grounding thing, and I'm like, you're not going to put it on the battery? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do it. And what's funny is ever since he did that, now I've, like, second guessed myself anytime I've had to jump somebody off or I had to get jumped off. I'm like, wait, am I doing this right? Because I remember my brother did that thing.
You
but
can
I'm always worried that, like,
technically do it without, like, hooking it up to the ground. Like, I think, so what you're supposed to do, like, just to, like, make sure you don't, like, I'm not really sure what it does. I don't know. Like, once again, I'm too fucking stupid to, like, explain this.
yeah, I think
but,
we're getting all of our.
but I think it will damage the battery in, like, certain rare cases if you hook
Okay.
up pole to pole, like, on both sides. That's why you're supposed to ground first. If that doesn't work, then you hook it directly up to the negative line. I believe so.
This is probably in the owner's manual. Probably tells me right there. But who looks at that, right?
But I have the ones that I gave my girlfriend. It's actually a bag. It's kind of hilarious. It has, like, it's like a round, like a circular bag, and on one side you can hang it up from your window, and it just says help on it. But the other side has detailed instructions. It's like a blueprint, and it
okay.
basically shows you where to hook everything up and where everything's located.
You know what? I just realized I have a bag, like kind of a, it's got like jumper cables. I think it has the gloves in there, like maybe a flashlight. It's made for that kind of like situations, and it probably has detailed instructions in there and stuff. I mean, I've always done it. Like I felt like I knew how to do it until I saw him do that, and I'm like, oh man, am I doing this wrong? Like I was kind of, like really worried that like I was gonna. You don't want to tell because I was like, and when it comes to cars, I mean, you've seen me with fucking computer and electronic stuff. When it comes to cars, I generally look like an idiot. I probably know the least of like any male in my family. That's probably extended as well. Maybe. Yeah, I'd put money on me being the dumbest with vehicles. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know where to take it if it gets fucked up, but.
But it was kind of odd just pulling around, like, being, like, end to end with another car and, like, jumping it off from the trunk.
yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, next time I go home, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Dad, did you know?" He's like, "Yeah, everybody knows that." Like,
I kind of wonder, I'm not sure if it's, like, a weight thing, because if you look at the engine, everything looks like
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what the reasoning was. It was just a big engine. They're like, we don't have room for the fucking battery in here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because like the inside's so slim or it's because the engine's so big, but it looked like to me whenever you open up like a regular car, it looks just kind of like everything's in its place, but it's just kind of like thrown in there. This is like all streamlined. It looks like very specific. Like even the middle of it is just like this big, like, I don't know. It looks like it was engineered specifically.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. It looks...
Well, yeah, they know what they're doing with their muscle cars. They've been at it for a little while.
But the way that I found out about the connections under the hood is because my coworker drives a Charger, and it's the same thing.
Well, this is good to know. So in the future when this happens, we'll be like, yeah, the batteries in the trunk of these things. Meanwhile, I'm driving a fucking Hyundai Elantra.
If you're trying to jump off a muscle car, that more than likely, or maybe it's all sports cars. I don't know.
Well, it'd be funny if yeah, bro, it's every car made after fucking 2017 now. Like, for all you know. They're like, yeah, they don't even have batteries anymore. It's just straight, there's no electric. It's just all gas and steam. They need to figure out steam, I mean, I guess technically they have, but for cars.
Well, sure. Wasn't there a steam-powered car?
I mean, dude, I'm sure there's there's smart people. We just talked about people celebrating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. There's guaranteed somebody in their spare time probably made like a mock Lamborghini out of like 3D printed parts and steam powered and stuff. There's too many smart. You know what's funny is we might have talked about this, but I think if we took all 7 billion people in the world, like as far as IQ, I always kind of wondered where I ranked, and I feel like, and I don't think I'm being like hard on myself. Like I might rank in the bottom 50%.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of fucking people. And a lot of them are in Asia, so boom, they're all ahead of me. I really hope they figure out the coronavirus thing. I don't have any cruises planned, but after hearing the coronavirus on a quarantined cruise ship, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go on a cruise anytime soon. Oh, man.
Yeah, I was listening.
Scary.
I was watching, I think it was Tom Papa's new special he was talking about. He's like, why would you want to go on a cruise? He's like, you can do all that shit on land. Like, you don't need to go out on a giant floating toilet to, like...
But it's all kind of conveniently located,
Yeah.
Like, I can literally go to, a 24-hour, like, food and then go a floor to a casino.
But you don't think there's shit like that in Vegas?
There probably is, but how much did it cost the cruise, Smiley, for us to go? Like $500?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we ain't getting that in fucking Vegas. It's probably gonna be
I don't know. There might
10
be.
times that much at least.
You might be able to find some deals.
Did you think about it? Like we did a week. 3 meals a fucking day. Like, dude. And what's funny is, we got a deal. Like, there was definitely, we went along with people that knew what they were doing and knew how to get us the best deal or whatever. At the time, I was like, man, it's kind of a lot. But looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, that's not a lot at all. Like, at all. For a fucking week. Are you kidding me? Like a hotel, like a cheap hotel here would probably, I think 7 days. I don't know. Yeah, fucking $500. Then you add on the fucking, well, I guess booze wasn't free. So that's probably where a lot of people rake up a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
A lot of tabs.
I know I spent a sizable amount of money.
Oh, you were gonna share your. Actually, I was gonna. I'll try to make this quick because I want to hear you had a bizarre story.
Yeah.
So I wanted to end on that, but I just wanted to. So for Christmas, I had to get my nieces some presents.
Uh-huh.
So I went on Amazon to order them, and I guess I was. I don't want to say I was misled, but I was confused, I guess, about the shipping or whatever. Because apparently I signed up for Amazon Prime when I did that.
Oh, really?
And I think I got an email and it said, like, oh, your Prime membership was, like, immediately. And I'm like, oh, fucking really? Like, what the hell? I think I just saw, like, maybe it was Prime shipping. And I just,
I clicked on that.
oh, I want that. That's, yeah, Prime. Everyone wants Prime. You don't want whatever isn't Prime. We want Prime rib, right? You don't want subprime. Is that a word? Subprime. Anyways, subprime loan. Isn't that a subprime loan?
Maybe.
Don't look into it. Don't look into it. But so I got an email and I was like, well, I'll at least I don't want to cancel it right away. I don't know if that's gonna fuck up the shipping or whatever. I got to make sure it gets there before Christmas. So I just went about my business and I kind of forgot about it. I've been getting emails and stuff, and then finally the other day I checked my bank account and I'm like, yeah, they definitely took money out for my membership, and I didn't realize that because that was the thing. It's oh, I'm getting something ordered, and it's just shipping.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with I didn't realize you got access to the movies and the music and all this stuff. I thought, and the shipping stuff. I didn't realize that was everything was in that, and I'm kind of it's a really good deal, but so immediately I cancel it. But then I was it gives you the option because it was that the prorating thing. It's if you cancel now, we'll refund the money. Or just cancel it at the end of your term or whatever. It's February 16th. So I'm you know what? I'll just do the 16th. I got a week or 10 days or whatever it was at the time. And I knew Too Old to Die Young. I really wanted to see that show. And I did. And I don't the greatest, slowest show of all time. I mean, he's not known for his dialogue per se, but man, it is slow, but it's really good.
Yeah.
But and it's hard to even recommend it because I was watching. What's funny is so I think I'd watched the first few episodes, and that's the thing too is I think every episode is at least an hour to an hour and a half long. So you're watching fucking movies every episode, and the last episode is 30 minutes, which is really bizarre. But the first I don't know if it's necessarily an article. I don't know exactly what it was, but somebody just wrote. Whenever I was Googling about it, I saw that someone wrote, "Why can I not stop looking at Nicholas Winding Refn's tormentingly boring Too Old to Die Young?" And I was weird because I'm okay, that's hopeful that he says, "Why can't I stop looking at?" And then I see tormentingly boring, and I'm because I was getting kind of nervous because the first episode's very slow, but a lot does happen. He just paces it very slowly, and even the dialogue is what do you think we should do?
Yeah.
Maybe go over there. That's and I'm not kidding. A lot of the times it's that slow.
That was kind of how Drive was a little.
Yeah, and Drive that's the thing is you're I was watching reviews online and people were saying yeah, not a lot happens, and I'm I think a lot does happen, and it's a great. That's the thing with his. It's the same with Parasite. I think it's a great story, well told, and this one, I don't think he's a bad storyteller. I think he told it the way he It's not oh, I fucked up and did it wrong. He did it 100% the way he wanted it. It's the most. It's a gorgeous fucking looking show and stuff, and that's what he's kind of known for. But yeah, I don't know. A lot happens. He's just in an hour and a half. Dude, you could have got 45 to 60 minutes and
trying to build the mood.
And that's what was so confusing because I'm I feel if we have a camera on us we do and we're acting, it's hey, do you think we should go over there? Your instinct would be yeah, we should go over there. But I don't know if he's on set instructing them wait.
Yeah. I want you to count to 37.
Answer. Yeah, that's. I don't know because I feel every actor is fighting their instinct to just say their fucking line, and they're just waiting. But it was. But I saw one thing because I was watching YouTube reviews of it and stuff. I was just kind of curious as to what other people thought about it. And some of them were positive, pretty much the same complaints, all about pacing. But there was one guy that said just watch episodes 4 through 8. That's all you need. Episode 4 basically recaps everything from the first, and even Nicholas Winding Refn in an interview at Cannes Film Festival. This is weird. At Cannes Film Festival, they debuted the show, right? They played episodes 4 and 5.
Weird.
And he said well, that's kind of how people consume stuff. My kids with the internet, and I'm no, that's not. I know what you're saying. Back in the dark ages with cable TV, that's how you would consume stuff. Now, every streaming service starts from episode 1. No one really jumps into shows.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that jumps into shows now. Yeah, I started Game of Thrones. Well, it's funny. Well, that's on HBO, so I was gonna say my mom jumped into Game of Thrones. The only fucking person on planet Earth I've ever known that Yeah, I just started and halfway through season 2 and just watched the rest of it. I don't even think she ever went back and watched the beginning of it, but yeah, she was way into it. But I just thought it was very bizarre because this guy recommended 4 through 8, and even Nicholas Winding Refn's like debuted 4 and 5, and he was explaining how people consume stuff. But I think episode 2 is boring as fuck. But episode 1 I thought was really good. I don't know, it's just very bizarre. I don't know. I will say this though. That was another thing about this show is that, you know, you see all like the parental guidance and everything, like all the GV graphic violence, GL graphic language. I saw SSC for the first time, strong sexual content. RP. I've never seen an RP. Rape.
You never seen an RP?
I've never seen an RP, bro.
I'm trying to remember. I saw an HBO movie
You know what? I'm gonna count myself lucky because I haven't seen an RP.
back in the day that had one. But I've seen the strong sexual content. Like if you watched like Real Sex or something, they always did that.
I guess so. Maybe didn't it used to just? I feel like it wasn't SSC. Maybe it was just SC. I don't know, man. I feel like they're changing them now or something. Because I was like, man, I've never. It's just weird whenever you see, you know, just like just one like graphic language or whatever. But this is like, holy shit, he's got like 6 up there. Like this is gonna be a very intense show. And I will say that like they definitely like let him. It really seemed like they let him do what he wanted to do. Ed Brubaker, comic book writer, was the co-creator. I did not know that either. And I'm like, and honestly, when I found that out, I'm like, that makes sense because every comic book now, instead of just being a one and done, it's a fucking long, drawn out fucking story that takes forever to fucking get there. He's like, hey man, I could tell this story in 2 issues, but why not make it 8? It's like, well, I don't know. But yeah, it was very, it's a crazy show. There's a lot of stuff that happens. I mean, rape. There's a part where 2 guys are rubbing cocaine on each other. They're cousins. The episode ends with them rubbing cocaine on each other's body.
Really?
And I'm like, there's moments in the show where it's like, okay, this is a normal, like, I feel like if my, like, dad was watching, like, this is, like, I don't think he would like the fucking show at all, but, like, this is a normal cop drama. You got the cartel involved and fucking crooked cops and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's scenes like that where I'm like, where there's just like, you know, 80s synth music playing and 2 dudes are rubbing, like, kind of like 2 cousins, by the way, like, for really no explanation. There's never been any sort of tension between these guys. It's just like, at the show ends with them rubbing, and there's a handful of moments where you're like, that was kind of out of nowhere, and I don't really know what that entails, but, and I don't want to ruin it. Are you going to watch the show?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you definitely piqued my interest because I watched that little bit with you. We watched the one episode, and then who was that? Was it one of the Baldwins? It was like the coked out
Billy
dad.
Baldwin is great in that show. Like, I honestly think, like, I'm like, man, he's really good. He's really good in this role. Like, there's a lot of people that I thought were like really great on the show and everything, but actually, the guy, and it took me a second to realize it, but his lieutenant, Miles Teller's character is Martin Jones. His lieutenant, I guess his boss. I'm hoping I'm getting the rank right there. But I thought that guy's hilarious. But it's played by, do you remember the movie Die Hard? Do you remember the guy with the beard, the cokehead at the party? I think he was. Yeah.
The guy that's like making all like the
remember
bad jokes.
Yeah,
and
he's
stuff.
like trying to, and he's like, oh, I'll talk to the terrorists.
Yeah.
All right, guys. He's getting shot. That guy's his lieutenant, and he's not the same character. He's not even. He's kind of a good cop. He's not even a crooked cop, but like, he's pretty hilarious. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the same guy. And I'm like, he kind of plays the same character, just obnoxiously like loud and verbose. I don't even know what that word means, everybody. But yeah, I don't want to ruin the show or anything for.
But recommended, but it's very bizarre.
Yeah, and for the most part, it's a pretty straightforward. Like, it's slow.
Yeah.
It's. I don't know. Like, what's funny is like I feel like he's smart enough because that's like I say. That person said, "I can't stop looking at this tormentingly boring." Like, drags you along, and then it's like something happens. You're like, "Oh man, well now I gotta."
He's just dropping breadcrumbs.
Yeah, it's just like just something crazy. That's what I thought was weird that people didn't like episode 1 because I'm like, man, episode 1 like it didn't have to be an hour and a half long, but there were definitely things that happened within the show that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out. And then you watch episode 2, you're like, this is boring as fuck. But yeah, I don't want to ruin it for anybody or anything. But yeah, there's definitely bizarre stuff. There was something else I was gonna say about it, but now I don't remember. Oh well, I think I've covered it. Oh, I was gonna say. So I finished the show, and then going through Amazon Prime, I'm like, yeah, I don't think streaming services are for me. It's nice to have it there, but like, I was, and you know, obviously, the more you have, probably the more movies that are available to you. But like, I was thinking of a lot of movies, and I'm searching, and I'm like, oh, they don't have it. Oh, they don't have it.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have it. Or they would have something, and I'm like, well, now I'm just searching for stuff that's like that I didn't really even have on my list just to see if they have it. And I'm like, am I gonna sit here and watch this, even though I had no intention of doing it? And I'm just like.
Well, that's the weird thing
And all the
about
stuff
those
that's
things.
going
you
on in
spend
my
a lot
head.
of time looking.
Man, and
Like,
that's
more time looking
and
than
I just
watching.
spent like 30 minutes, and I'm like, fuck this. Like that's I don't know. Like I don't understand how people do this, and they're like they end up like. And there's shows that I probably like if I get into, but I'm like, I mean, it's the same with this. Like I started this show, and like I don't know, it just felt fucking weird. Like, all right, I got to get home and watch another episode. Like I enjoyed it as much as I did. I also felt like. Oh, it's a chore. It's like a task.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why people like it. Maybe it gives them something to do. I mean, it's TV. People like watching shows. I don't wanna hate on people.
Escapism.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the movies I couldn't find that I wanted to see. And it was just, you know, I see the other shows and I'm like, oh, I've heard The Expanse is good. I really don't want to.
You want to sit and watch all
Yeah,
that
I don't
TV.
want to sit. I don't want to sit. I mean, you know, that's fine if you want to do that. Like, you know, like watching TV is as productive as like reading a comic book and stuff, but I just have other stuff I want to do in my free time. I'm not hating on theirs,
Yeah.
as long as they don't hate on mine, bro. Just
And you
don't
can
hate on
dig
me.
through. They have all that HBO back catalog stuff. You can watch
Yeah, I
The
saw that.
Sopranos and The Wire, and
That was Sopranos. I was like, man, I really, but it's ending on February 16th. I'm like, I'm not gonna go through 5 seasons of a
That's
show, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and I kind of want to watch it, but like I've been fine up until this point not watching it, and I'm not gonna make The Sopranos a fucking chore. Like, that doesn't sound enjoyable. At all.
yeah.
This ain't fucking homework, dude. But you had a bizarre story you wanted to share, and I was
Okay.
curious about this.
So this is from a friend of a friend. Hopefully, I don't like butcher all this stuff, but
From fucking Reddit.
anyways, so a guy was having sex, and he got shot in the thigh, and bled out and died
Okay.
while he was having sex.
Okay.
So cops come and do the whole crime scene thing or whatever, and then
Did the was this a man and woman having sex?
I believe so. I'm not a lot of the details on this. I don't even.
So
know.
you don't know if the woman was the one that shot him?
Yeah, I'm not sure
Okay.
exactly how this happened, but anyways, he died while having sex, shot in the thigh, bled out.
Okay.
So he went to the morgue, and the person that was telling the story is I'm not exactly sure what the term is, but they're taking photographs of the body.
Okay. Okay.
So she got down, and obviously you have to like take a picture of this bullet hole because it's in his thigh.
Mm-hmm.
So she's down there taking pictures of this bullet hole, and he came all over her camera and all over her face. And apparently, like, there was like a cop standing there too, and like he was just like losing his shit. But
Are you serious?
yeah,
was his cock hard?
that I don't know. I
I knew it was
asked
gonna be
that-
someone with a
I-
dick once you were
I
on
asked
there,
that
but
question,
I did
but
not.
I kind of wonder if it maybe still. I don't know if that'll. I feel like that wouldn't happen, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But somebody, because I want to say this was in like a
Rigor mortis, bro. Right.
like a messenger chat or something with like a group of people, and
Okay.
somebody was like, I didn't know they could do that, like, because you hear about people like shitting after they die and stuff like that.
I totally thought you were
but-
just gonna say his dick twitched.
Oh.
I did not expect that.
But she was like, oh yeah, that can totally happen. They just like blow their load after they die.
Wow. Well, it's weird that it went from all the way from the crime. Wait, were they at the crime scene? This is at the morgue.
Yeah,
So he's already been transported and everything. That's very.
I think so. Maybe it was at the crime scene. See, I don't have all these details.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is like kind of a
No,
spotty.
it's not a. It's not a I'm
But
just
it's just-
wondering, like, do you? So you realize that means that he was like there when he got shot and died.
Yeah, He had one cocked and ready to go.
That's still, man, I don't know. And this is kind of sounding more suspect because I'm thinking, like, once you get shot, right?
Uh-huh.
You're saying he got shot and bled out. Like, how long did that take? And he's still, like, hard, like, going? Because I feel like once I'm shot, sex stops. And there has to be at least a few minutes. I feel like the cum wouldn't still be at the...
Well, maybe it was, like, hanging
I
out.
think this photographer did a little funny business.
Well, maybe it was still in the, like, in the prostate or whatever.
God, it's like right there on the edge. Then he gets shot, so it like hangs out. That's I don't know. It just sounds great because I'm thinking like I can see how like if he died immediately, like a heart attack, boom, I was about to come, and then the heart attack or whatever. But like the fact that there was time from being shot to bleeding out, I'm like, wouldn't you have not been erect? Especially when you bled out. I mean, if your throbbing dick's got blood engorged, I would
Well, it
think,
might have
like,
gone
maybe
soft,
that,
but still had some load in there.
No, that's true. That's weird. So it probably. Do you think it like perked up whenever it like shot out?
Maybe. I don't know.
Golly, that's insane. Ugh.
I wonder if like if you're getting like your prostate massage, if it has to be hard.
Oh, that'd be weird. You know, I bet it doesn't. I don't know. These are all very important questions.
Sorry to end this on kind of a weirdly bizarre, vague note, but
I don't. It's not that. The best way to end it, I think, is. I did learn something. Do you know what ducks? How ducks fart? Out of their ass quack.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Peace be with you.
I literally thought of that at the